I don't look diabolical. I look like the bloody nerd you shove in lockers. Nerd you shove in lockers. I look like the bloody nerd you shove in lockers.
That was us, Keith Yeti. We did that.
I've never felt more accomplished in my entire life.
Alright gang, it's finally out, and I'm here to talk about it because that's what I do. Now let me start right off the bat by saying that this video is kind of harder to make than I expected, because when I started talking about All-Stars, I started about halfway through, so I had already built up a lot of opinions about the characters and the plot, which I can't really do here. So I doubt this video is going to be very long. But because I value all of you so very much, and the money that YouTube is willing to afford me, I'm going to make sure that this video is at least 8 minutes so I can earn some fat stacks. We're going to start with my thoughts on the characters since we've now gotten to see them interact with one another and we've seen more of their personalities. Only the ones I think are noteworthy though, because honestly not all of them are. So if anyone's gonna go to the comments and ask, "Oh, Lexi Waybright, how do you feel about Richard and Logan now that the episodes are out?" They're fine. I like them about as much as I did when I watched their audition tapes, and that hasn't changed. Someone who I have changed my opinion on is Anastasia. So I don't know about all of you, but I think feminism is like the coolest thing ever. So as of Anastasia's first confessional, she is now in my top 3. That and her interactions with Marissa, which were a big highlight for me. Out of all the current dynamics, I think these two are my favorite right now, although the trio of Tristan, Jade, and Ivy looks pretty promising. I just like how these two bounce off each other. Also, you know, this.
You're very pretty.
I'm so fucking happy.
You know, suddenly, I'm a lot less confident that these two are going to pre-merge as I predicted. Not that I have a problem with that or anything. This is a dynamic that I live for in most creative works, and I have the utmost faith in Odd Nations to not fuck it up. The other character that I really like this episode is Amelie, but we're gonna save her for later, so let's talk about another character that I have a lot to say about. Benji. The things that Benji said this episode. Oh goodness.
Glad some of us have a good head on our shoulders.
Oh yeah, I'm all about giving good head.
Oh no, just see, it's cause he meant that he had a good head on his shoulders, but he accidentally said that he's known for giving good head, and when you say that, it sounds like it's like sex. Honestly, my problem isn't even that he said the thing, it's that he clearly did it on accident. Am I the only one who kinda was hoping that he was actually a creep? The idea is clearly supposed to be that he's a well-meaning guy who just slips into euphemisms every now and then, but like, that's lame, and I don't like it. So here's a quick headcanon that I think would be a better use of Benji than that. Number 1, he's evil now. I think that if Benji was evil, then that would be a really funny twist, but also a genuinely good one if handled correctly. Number 2, he hates women. Now obviously hating women is bad and you shouldn't do it, but if Benji hates women, then we all have a valid reason to hate him back and shove him into lockers and such. The third thing that will be changing is that his name is no longer Benji. His name is now Funny Matthew until he earns the right to be called Benji again. If he has a genuinely good character moment, or if I grow to like him, he will regain his privileges back. But for now, this is the new version of the character. His name is Funny Matthew, and if you refer to him as Benji at any point in time, I will pretend not to know who you're talking about. Anyway, as I hinted before, I really do like the trio of Tristan, Ivy, and Jade. These three are just so chill and non-problematic that I think we're just gonna vibe for a while, and it's gonna be great. They didn't get too much focus this episode, aside from maybe Tristan, because they helped their team win the first part of the challenge, but I think that's okay. Do I think they're going to do well overall? Probably not. Looking at their team composition, it's clear that there are some other characters that are being pushed a lot more heavily than they are. Still, I think these three are very sweet together, and I look forward to see how they interact with each other in the future. I really wish I had more to say on them, but given that we're only one episode in, that's about it. Oh yeah, one thing I didn't like is how Natalia called Emily Mother. I like this character, up until that happened. Okay, admittedly I was being a little bit hyperbolic. This does not destroy my perception of Natalia, it's just something I kinda don't like all that much. Jade is another one that I was really fond of this episode. I had pretty high expectations for her, and while she didn't exceed those expectations, she didn't fall short either. Her forming an alliance with Spencer is unexpected, but you know what? I'm willing to give it a shot. I feel like the big thing for Jade is just waiting to see what she does with that decision. Ditto for Isabel. It seems like that big decision is going to be the first bump in the road of the season. So when we get to the next episode and we see what decision they make, I think we're gonna learn a lot about both of them. By now, you should probably be seeing why this episode is so hard to talk about. This episode is meant to introduce the characters and the setting, but due to pre-release material, we already know a lot about them. Which is not something I'm going to hold against the show, that would be absolutely ridiculous, but it's just a little unfortunate that because I made that last video, I'm kinda already acquainted with these people. Thankfully, this episode does have a few funny jokes that keep me engaged.
What the freak? Ah! It's on my ass! My ass!
Ted is really funny, you guys. As is Alessio, who just completely annihilates that snail because he wants some of that blue goop. Now, normally I would not condone stomping on innocent snails, but I'm a Netherrack main, so snails are kind of my enemy right now. Alas, my crackpot theory that Alessio is somehow going to win the season is looking less likely by the day. Given that Linda is trying to form a woman's alliance, Alessio would absolutely be the first boot if that ever came to pass. But please, Alessiums, have faith. There may be hope for us yet, because I still believe that Linda is a red herring. As far as competency goes, Linda is not up there with the best of them. Once the blue team lost the reward challenge, she kinda let her true personality slip a little bit too early. And this caused her to leave a bad impression on the lesbians, which I think could very well come back to bite her in the first elimination. Now from the trailers, we can kinda tell that Ted may or may not be working with her. However, I still think that Linda overplaying her hand and flaming out of the game early is on the table. And honestly something I really want to see, not only because I think it'd be really funny, but because I would get 2 predictions right potentially. Now don't get me wrong, I really like Linda, I think she's funny, but as far as main antagonists go, I don't think she's what this season needs. But if she does stay for the long run, I'm sure that she will grow on me. I probably will just need a little time. Someone who has already grown on me is Amelie, who I am now 100% sure is going to get a redemption arc like I said. She's bossy and short-tempered, yes, that much is true, but she's also a team player and I think that's important to note. She just needs to stop acting like a manager, which is something I think she can easily do once she's adapted to her new environment. And from there, all she really needs to do is just talk to people. At the moment, she is disconnected from her team, but I think that's something she could easily come back from, especially with Hannah extending an olive branch. And given that Funny Matthew is also on this team, she has at least one hard buffer to help her survive an elimination. I do wish I had more to say on Amelie, but again, this is the first episode, there is not a lot to talk about. So I'll end this section by saying that I'm really excited to see what happens with her story. Okay, now, who are we gonna talk about next, if there even is anyone? I guess I could talk about Spencer and how I view him now as opposed to my initial review of him, which was pretty poor.
He's gonna form a trio with him, Diego, and Jade, and he's gonna overplay his hand and be super confident and egotistical, and he's gonna make a bunch of mistakes, and Jade is gonna get mad at him for it, and Diego's gonna have his back because he's his bro. But then they're gonna have an argument, and Spencer is gonna be like, hey Diego, you suck actually, and Diego's going to be very sad. And then Spencer's gonna be like, oh my god, what have I done? I don't think that guy sucks. I think he's attractive actually. And then what else is gonna happen? He's gonna be like Nick and Alec together, I said that, and then he's gonna be like, hey Diego, I'm sorry for what I said, you want to make out now? And Diego's like, yeah, I'll do that. And Jade is like, yo, that's hot, I forgive you, Spencer, for being conceited. You really went through all that character development and now we can be friends. And Spencer's like, yeah. I guess I don't know when he's gonna get eliminated, but I mean, I know pretty much his whole plot, so does it matter?
At this point, I honestly don't know if I hate Spencer or if I just love to hate on him because it's funny. Anyway, this episode was pretty solid. I give it a 6 or a 7 out of 10. And with that being said, I think I've said everything I needed to say. Season 1 ranking should be next. We put a lot of work into it. It's over an hour long, and I really think you're going to enjoy it. I apologize that the wait has been so long, but now that I've worked things out with YouTube, I think videos are going to start coming out a lot more frequently. Until then, if you like my content and want to see more, feel free to leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you feel so inclined. I would really appreciate it, as it does a lot to help my channel grow. Now with that all being said, I am really tired and I think I'm gonna go to bed. Good night, everyone.